Imagine walking through one of America's greatest museums. Alone. The lights are dim. The galleries are silent. And somewhere in the darkness, a statue covered in iron spikes begins to move. Security guards at the Detroit Institute of Arts have reported strange noises echoing through empty halls. Footsteps, dragging sounds, even the feeling that certain artworks are watching them. This story circulates among museum enthusiasts but is not officially documented. The rumor says that decades ago a maintenance worker in the museum basement reported hearing metal banging sounds late at night. When he investigated, the noise seemed to be coming from a storage area containing African sculptures. Nothing was found out of place. But is the museum really haunted? Or is it simply the unsettling power of the art itself? Tonight we explore the strange history, eerie artifacts, and unsettling paintings of the Detroit Institute of Arts. And decide, is it 99% true or not? The Detroit Institute of Arts is one of the largest and most respected museums in the United States. But it didn't start that way. The museum began in 1885 as the Detroit Museum of Art on Jefferson Avenue. By the early 20th century, Detroit had become one of the richest cities in America, and the museum's collection was expanding rapidly. So a brand new building was commissioned. In 1927, the museum moved into its current home on Woodward Avenue, a massive Beaux-Arts building designed by architect Paul Philippe Cret. Today, the museum contains over 100 galleries, more than 65,000 objects, artwork spanning thousands of years of human history. Outside the museum sits a famous sculpture, a cast of The Thinker by Auguste Rodin, donated in 1922. But once you step inside, you enter a world filled with ancient spirits, unsettling symbolism, and art that can feel disturbingly alive. Deep in the museum's African art galleries stands one of the most unsettling objects in the entire collection, the Congo nail figure. These statues originate from Central Africa and were used in spiritual rituals. Each nail driven into the figure represented a vow, a contract, or a spiritual judgment. The result is terrifying. A human figure covered in hundreds of iron spikes. Some believe these objects were meant to house spirits or act as spiritual witnesses. And according to longtime stories among museum staff, this statue may still be active. Night guards have reported hearing strange sounds near the statue, and some claim they've seen the figure move or sway when no one was nearby. Others claim the statue appears to change position overnight. Of course, there is no documented proof, but even skeptics admit standing next to it alone in the dark is deeply unsettling. One of the most famous works in the museum surrounds an entire courtyard, the Detroit Industry Murals by Mexican artist Diego Rivera. Painted between 1932 and 1933, the murals depict workers inside the massive Ford River Rouge factory. But look closely, because Rivera filled these murals with strange symbolism. In one panel, a figure appears half human, half skull, representing the duality of life and death. Other sections show workers surrounded by machines that resemble mechanical monsters. Some historians believe Rivera intentionally painted industry as both creator and destroyer, almost like a prophecy. Many visitors report that the figures in the murals feel strangely alive, their eyes staring down at anyone who enters the courtyard. At night, under dim lighting, the effect is even more eerie. Another section of the museum houses ancient Egyptian artifacts, including an actual mummy and its painted coffin dating back over 2,000 years. Ancient Egyptians believed that the soul The ka could remain attached to the body after death, which means the objects surrounding a mummy were not simply decorations. They were meant to serve the spirit for eternity. While there are no confirmed hauntings tied to the Egyptian gallery, many museum workers admit the space feels different. Quiet, heavy, almost like the air itself remembers something ancient. Some of the museum's eeriest experiences don't involve ghosts at all. They involve paintings. Many artworks in the museum use a technique called trompe-l'œil, designed to trick the eye into seeing three-dimensional reality. This illusion can create the disturbing sensation that figures inside the painting are watching you. Visitors often report eyes that seem to follow them, faces that appear different from different angles, or figures that seem almost alive. Certain Baroque and Romantic paintings are particularly intense. One famous unsettling work sometimes discussed in connection with the museum is The Nightmare by Henry Fuseli. It depicts a sleeping woman haunted by a demon perched on her chest. Painted in 1781, it was one of the first artworks to visualize the concept of sleep paralysis. Many visitors say the painting creates a strange emotional reaction, even fear. Most museum visitors only see the DIA during the day, but security guards see it very differently. At night, the building becomes silent, empty, and enormous. Some guards have reported hearing heavy footsteps, distant knocking, or the sound of objects moving. Yet, when they investigate, the galleries are completely empty. One story describes the sound of paintings being dragged across the floor, only to find every artwork exactly where it should be. Is it paranormal, or simply the strange acoustics of a 658,000 square foot museum at night? No one knows for sure. There is another explanation. Art is designed to provoke emotion. Great artists understand psychology, how light, shadow, and expression affect the human brain. So when you walk through a museum alone, your mind begins filling in the silence. Faces appear to move. Eyes follow you. And ancient artifacts suddenly feel very alive. Perhaps the real haunting isn't ghosts. It's imagination. Are these stories truly paranormal? Or simply the eerie power of art? You decide. Is it 99% true or not?